Hello, wonderful listener. Hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having a lovely day. If those who are listening in Europe, I hope you had a nice day. I just got out of work and I was like, let me just get this out there before I forget. But yes, hi, how are you? I hope everything is fine. I hope you guys are healthy. The holiday season have begun. I'm starting to look at Christmas trees. Yeah, it's that time of the year. We had Halloween. We're not waiting for Thanksgiving. Actually, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We're immigrants, so like Thanksgiving don't have a lot of like significance to us. It's like an American holiday that we have not subscribed to very much yet. But yeah, Thanksgiving is coming up. I wanted to host my friend over. I'm still trying to work out the details to host her. She's from another country, so I'm hoping that my plans go well, basically. Um, for today, I wanted to talk about education, right? Education in the Congolese household, in the African household, its importance and how it's so sometimes I feel like it's a juxtaposition to like the culture that we're living now. Like I am currently working as a teacher and I'm seeing black and brown kids coming to school with like you can see that they are so disconnected with the idea of an education. And you have parents today who I feel like send their kids to school because it is required by law and because they need babysitting services. I strongly feel like the education system have lost its value. And it's funny because like a couple of years ago, I was listening to people making like, commentary about college. Is college worth it? Especially college in America with all the expenses and all of that. And as a person who have studied in Africa, I studied in Europe, I studied in Asia, seeing the difference of approach in education has been very interesting, right? And so I feel like although I don't believe that our education system should cost as much as it does, I understand why. Like, yes, on some point there's greed, but I understand why we have like expenses, right? I don't think it should be a lot, but there should still be expenses because things cost money. If you're gonna work in a lab costs money. And in a lot of places, they do not have the capabilities that we have in the United States or in China, because China is at another level. So I feel like there should be expenses, but not as crazy as they are right now. And if we're going to talk about college and make criticism about college, that's fair, right? College is not for everybody. But I believe that education is for everybody. I think there's a difference between school and education. And I feel like some kids go to school and some kids have an education. As an African kid, as a Congolese kid, you go to school to have an education. You go to have an education. You don't go to school. You go to a place of education. There's a difference in that. School is the building. What is taught there is the education. And because of our cultures of like, you can be famous online, you can make a TikTok videos and go viral, kids are disconnected with the idea of an education. They are disconnected with the idea of going to school to get an education. And their parents, and the funny thing that I'm observing is that their parents because of the easiness of to be like because it's now easy to become famous, their parents want to be famous through their kids. So they themselves are not enforcing the education. You have a kid tell you, well, if you do this, I'm going to call my mom. Well, my mom told me I can call her to say blah, 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 blah. That never, first, you know what, let me take y'all back. I started school when I was 3 years old, because in Africa, you start very early, and then when you're 6, you take an exam. And that exam, that entrance exam, will determine what grade you're going to start at, right? And I told you guys, like, I gave you an anecdote in my last episode on, like, how stressful African parents are when they're tutoring you. African parents are not trained to be tutors at all. Tutors are supposed to help you. African parents degrade you. So you find they never give you the answer. You go get the answer for yourself. They yell at you to go get the answer for yourself. They will yell at you for hours. You don't know how to do this? What's so hard? 2 plus 2. You don't know what 2 plus 2 is? Oh my God, I gave birth to a dummy. Lord, why? If you had told me this was going to come out, God, I would have pulled out. That's what an African dad will literally say. Oh, I swear to God. African kids need therapy. They need therapy. Listen, as someone who's been in therapy for 10 years, I was like, I don't even know why I'm going to therapy for. But as soon as I started telling my therapist story and seeing like how horrified she was, I was like, oh, yeah, I can see how the trauma has built. I can see I'm a walking trauma. But yeah, African parents are not equipped to be tutor, ever. No. They're not even equipped to be teachers, to be honest. But you know what? Let's not talk about that. So I started school at 3 years old. My dad, who was a chemist, was very harsh and everything. So the times that he was there, listen to A Dream from My Father and you're going to get the gist of my father. And he was very like, you have to learn. I had a tutor at home. So when I took my test, I skipped the first grade. I believe I did 2 months in the second grade, and then I went to the third grade, right? And we went to school at 7 a.m. First of all, I went to school you know what, let me not lie. I was always late to school. Going to school at 7 a.m. was already late because technically we needed to be there at 6:30 to clean our classroom. We were the housekeepers of the classroom. We had to clean. We had to bring brooms and clean the classroom, make sure our classroom was neat, because you are not supposed to learn in a dirty space. So you were cleaning the classroom. We were cleaning the classroom. Wiping the desk clean that we're going to sit on, the chairs that we're going to sit on, the desk that we were going to write on. We will go fetch water that we're going to drink throughout the day. That was our job. So technically, we needed to be in school around 6:30. I went to school around 7:05, and I used to get my butt whooped every single day by the teacher and by kids, but that's another story, right? So, and we went to school from 7 to 12, and then we went home. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we went to school 7 to 12. We went home for lunch, and then we had to come back at 3 to 5, right? So technically 2:30, but I told y'all I was always late. So me showing up at 3 was already me being late. We had to clean the grass. We had to mow the grass. And when I say mow the grass, I don't mean that machine that you guys have, that sophisticated machine where you guys mow the grass, you mow your lawn. No, we had like, I don't know how to call it in English, but in French, I say la houe. Like I need to wait. First of all, wait, I'm going to Google the name so I can tell you what we're using to cut the grass. So I Googled it. In French, we call it la houe. I swear to God, the English translation is the hoe. Am I pronouncing it right? Y'all know I have an accent. Yeah, the hoe. Like it's it's a tool that people use to cut grass. And I don't know if it's a medieval tool. Sometimes the boys brought machetes, so they would cut like, the trees and everything. And the girls, we had the hoe. This is not coming out right, by the way. We had the hoe to cut the grass and everything. We did that. We had to make sure our school was good in order for the teacher to give us an education. We had to clean our space. And mind you, we are doing this as kids. I'm 6 years old doing this. I'm 6, 7, 8, and 9 doing this. And when you were not and when you did not clean, you did not help your classmates to clean, those assholes were the first ones to tell your teachers that you did not clean. So you get whoopings. And they were the ones sitting there laughing. And again, I used to be the one getting the whoopings because I was always late. Every Monday morning, we had to go salute the flag. Military style. In front of your class. Left, right. You march to the center of the school. The whole school is there. They pick 2 students, right? A boy and a girl. The girl is gonna display the flag. The guy is gonna use the string to to lift the flag up. And you had to learn the national anthem. Not just learn it in French, but you learn it in the native language as well. That's what I grew up under. These were the things that you were supposed to do at school. It taught you to clean. It taught you to be responsible. It taught you to work with others. Well, I did not learn that from doing it, but because, I was always late. But, seeing it from afar or knowing of it, taught me those things. But we were going there to get an education. We write in cursive. Like my student laugh at me. They'll be like, "Miss, we can't read your handwriting." Because I had to learn to write in cursive. And you have to understand, our educational system come from colonial rules. So, that crap was tough. We had to learn everything. Your parents brought you to school to be educated because they knew that in order for you to be successful, you needed an education. Now, from the colonial context, an education meant know what the white men know. But don't know too much because, they don't want you to know too much. But know what the white men know. Speak the way the white men speak. Think the way the white man thinks. Right? Because the colonial power were the one who established our institutions, in order for us to be part of those institutions, we needed to get their education, their system of learning. So our parents, again, think about it. Parents coming from poverty who wants to lift themselves up from poverty. And Americans know this. Pull yourself by the bootstrap. The way we pulled ourselves by the bootstrap was through an education. There was an importance to an education. I don't think I could tell my parents, I'm going to take a year off and go find myself. First of all, I would not be alive if I said that. A couple of months ago, I met a girl from Ghana, and we met another girl from Nigeria. And she said, I told him, I left home to go find myself. And when I turned around to look at her, the Africans in the room started laughing because my neck almost snapped. I'm like, are you still alive? Wait, and did you stay in their house when you were finding yourself? She's like, no. I had to move. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's why you're alive. We cannot tell our African parents that we're going to go find ourselves. College is not an option. It's not I'm going to think about whether I'm going to go or not. You had to go. And when you're 6, you had to figure out what the hell you wanted to do for the rest of your life and stick with it. And you had to choose between 5 industries: business, engineering, doctor, lawyer. I always forget the 5th one. I always forget the 5th. I think there's 4 or 5, yeah. Or a scientist. Like, I'm just going to add that in because I cannot think of the fifth one. So in education was it's innate in our identity as Africans. It's innate in my identity as a Congolese person. Outside of France, we are the largest francophone country in the world. There are more people who speak French in the Congo than anywhere else. And because we're bigger than France, like in size and everything, but So every parent, even in villages, I grew up in a small town that also had like villages around and everything. We're going to school with the kids. Because there was an understanding that, hey, for us to pull ourselves out of poverty, we need an education. And I believe that mentality existed in the United States a while ago, right? Especially in the Black family, right? Because of that history of slavery or that history of like oppression and everything, there was this understanding that getting an education is what's going to get you out of this situation. But even with that, I remember when we moved to the United States, the things that I saw at school, oh, Lordy Lord. I was like, wait, these people are doing this at the school? Cussing at your teacher? Oh, I wish I did that in Africa. I wish I had the audacity to tell the teacher, F you. I wish I did. First of all, when the teacher would bring my dead body to my parents, instead of whooping the teacher for killing me, they would kill me again, even though I'm already dead. Kids be like, you're not my mother. Well, I grew up in a place where everybody was your mother, so everyone was allowed to beat your butt. Everyone was allowed to beat your butt. So you could even, first of all, if another adult beats you, don't even go try to tell your mama that they beat you, thinking that your mama's gonna like go and whoop their butt. No. Because your mama's gonna be like, oh, so you acted a fool. So you showed another person that I do not know how to educate you. You made me look like a fool by the way you behave. For another adult to feel the need to educate you as if you're not getting an education in my house. Oh, you're getting a second whooping for that. You are getting a second whooping. So that's why when we moved to the United States, although I knew that I could not get whoopings, like, at school, that the teacher cannot beat me and everything, because this is countries advanced, because corporal punishment has been banned, like in a normal country. I wouldn't dare cuss at my teacher, because I knew that woman would talk to my mama, and my mama would kill me. Because my mama said when she pushed me out, America didn't help her to push out my big head. That's what she told me. America didn't help me to push out your big head. So go tell America that I beat you, and then let's see what they're gonna do to me. They didn't help me push out your big head. You know that saying, I gave birth to you and I can take you out. That's my mama logo. So I couldn't dare. So education is so important to us. It's so important to our identity, because for us, it showed that we were worthy. It showed that we are on equal standing with the white man. And it's funny because, like, I have a master's degree, and sometimes, like, when I have conversation with people are trying to clown me for having an education. So you're a book kid, huh? I knew you were white. You're such a white girl. You like reading books, huh? Like, wait, what? Once upon a time, something that was seen as good is now used to clown you. I had an uncle who told me, yeah, regardless of all those degrees that you're getting, you're still going to need to get married. As if being an educated woman discard me from getting a man. And there are men who and mind you, inferior boys. I'm never going to call them men. They are boys who feel that way. because they feel like they have not accomplished anything and you have accomplished something that is supposed to be theirs, they feel like they can like put you down to make themselves feel up. And I knew that what my uncle was doing. He was trying to put me down because he realized that I am doing what his kin did not do. His kin did not do that. So as a way to kind of put me down, to kind of make me feel bad, and he was trying to pit me against my cousins, and he was trying to like, boost his kids up and everything. And I'm just like, and like, I talked to my mother and I cut right to that. I'm like, nah, he's doing that because it hurt him. Because that is what he would have wanted from his kin. So being from a culture where education is everything and living in an environment or in a time where kids don't want to learn, it makes me very sad. Like, I study in China, and in China there is something called the Gaokao, right? So the Gaokao is an exam that every Chinese kid have to take when they're like maybe in high school or in middle school. That determines literally their lives. That determines what college they're gonna go to. So you have kids like from early as kindergarten, like really putting themselves through rough studying to pass the Gaokao. And think about that, like, you have kids who are fighting to go to school, but yet we're living in an environment where getting an education is a bad thing. And I'm not saying to go to college. That's not my argument. But your kids have to know her ABCDs by the time they're 3. I have 8-year-olds who don't know their ABCDs. They cannot tell. I've been working on ABCD for the last 3 weeks with the same 2 kids. First of all, there's more kids, but let's just use those 2 kids because they're the first one on my mind. Like, parents don't check notebooks anymore. When my parents came here, my parents did not speak English. But you know what my mama would do? My mom was like, hey, come here. Let me see your notebook. Although she did not know what I wrote in the notebook, she just wanted to see that it was filled with words. It was filled with lesson. It was filled with something that showed her I went to school and I learned something. Yes, you can be famous on TikTok. It's easy to be famous these days. But our society is declining. I am 26. When I'll be 70 or 60, the kids that I'm teaching are potentially going to be doctors. If I go to a hospital and I see a doctor that was born in 2010, 2015, 2016, I'm going to kill myself. Like, I don't need them to kill me because we're not raising the best people. Why not? Why not? Yes, the school system has issues. It does have issues. I can admit that. It does have issues. Especially education in America. Primary school, it has issues. I have a niece. I'm thinking about paying for her private school because I just feel like in public school she will not learn anything. The public school system is not the best. It's not the best. But with the little lesson that it provides, it needs to have listening ears who are receptive of it. Parents need to teach their kids the importance of education, not just going to school. School is the building. What you should do there is get an education. So that's all I had for today. I don't know how you feel about this topic. Please tell me, what is the education conversation in where you're living? Like, where are you guys at with the education? Like, how is your society improving or declining? Are kids enthusiastic about going to school? What is the standard of education where you live? Can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much. Bye.